Hey, YouTube. Heard you guys like faces talking to you through cameras. So I got some more of that for you. All right. Today I want to talk about looksmaxxing. I want to talk about why men dislike women these days. And I want to talk about what to do about it because it's too tragic and cringe to let go. It's too tragic and cringe to just let sit there. So we're going to jump into it and then talk about why. Been married for like 12 years, known her for about 16, right? Happily married. Things are doing great. Um, yeah, so you can either listen to me who's has a successful marriage, uh, much like one might have a successful business, or you could listen to some divorced dude who's angry on YouTube at women. That's like a guy who has a failed business and will tell you not to start a business because businesses are bad. I'm married and it's working great for me. And I'm telling you, marriages can be good. In fact, if you do the bare minimum, like the basics, it will be good. I'll talk more about that, marriage specifically later. But before we even get to marriage, you have to actually meet people, talk to people, impress them. I've got another video in the pipe right now where I talk about the stages of female attraction, where it's interest and then admiration, and then um, potentiality, where she starts visioning potential with you, and then acclamation, where she becomes, she sort of puts you as part of her life, right? So, but that's going to be another video for another time, maybe tomorrow. Let's talk about this. Okay. These are the blocks of interaction. Okay. You start out with a superficial interaction, it goes to a deeper interaction, and then becomes transcendental interaction. Okay. Now, you might think that women are very superficial, that they care about money and social status and cars and other nonsense. And you're going to say, oh, women are so superficial. If you don't have, if you're not 6 foot tall, if you don't have the 666, right? Like six figures, 6 foot tall and 6 inches long, right? You know what I'm talking about. Then they're not going to even swipe on Tinder. But Tinder is a superficiality machine. All those metrics are fully superficial. So yeah, of course women are gonna come off as superficial. If you're on a superficial platform having superficial interactions, it's like someone complaining that nobody cares about the inside of my house. And I say, well, has anyone ever been inside your house? Well, no, they just look at the front of it. I was like, well, of course they only care about the front of your house. They never go inside. They never see inside. And they're just driving in a road really fast, looking at lots of fronts of houses and deciding which one to stop at. All right. So let's get on here. What is looksmaxxing? Looksmaxxing is the maximization of your superficial characteristics, as far as I'm concerned. You're maximizing the superficial characteristics so you can win the superficiality game. First off, there's a song called Looking for Love in All the Wrong Places. If you are on these platforms and having these interactions that are purely surface level, that's bad. You should be having a slightly deeper interaction, because there's lots of degrees of deep. Okay. This isn't like I wrote a poem and I've traveled the world, let me share it with you. Sometimes I entered an art competition and I made an oil painting, or I decided that there's a street performer on the street, they're really good, so I sang along with them. Having something that's not just money, cars, looks, abs, all that stuff. Looksmaxxing is the maximization of your superficial characteristics rather than and I think that comes at the detriment of developing deeper characteristics. Like a lot of these guys who complain about women being so surface level and only caring about money and looks, do those men have any deep characteristics? I wonder, like, what are your deep characteristics? If some woman gave you a shot and says, all right, let's see it. Let's see who the real you is. Let's have a deep conversation. Like, would there be anything there to say? I like video games. Okay. Are you really take an introspective look at yourself? Like, really look at yourself here. Are you a superficial person? Like, is there anything there for her to even glom onto? Because if you're just doubling down on the looksmaxxing, renting a Bugatti or something or whatever fancy cars. I've never owned anything other than a Honda. I had a Toyota once in high school. I accidentally didn't change the oil in that because I'm an idiot in high school. Luckily, it was like a $3,000 car, which was a good amount of money back then, but it wasn't that much. Anyways, right? You got all these fancy cars. You're trying to dress fancy, and you're just maximizing your superficial characteristics. Like, is there anything to entice a woman or friends Like a lot of guys out there who are incels or whatever they call them, they complain about not having a girlfriend or not having girls. Like, do you have any actual just friends in real life? Like, that's a good start. Like, oh no, no women like me. No women want to talk to me. No one would want to have sex with me. It's like, you also don't have any friends that want to just hang out with you. Like, can you even hang out with someone for an hour without being, I don't know, with having something to offer in that conversation? Like basics, baby steps. Like you guys are trying to go to like, you guys are trying to go to the very top of the pyramid without touching the bottom of it. You just think you're going to Superman fly up there? Just get a Superman fly up the pyramid? I don't think so. I think you're going to just slap your, chubby meat against the side of the pyramid and just slide down. That's what's going to happen. All right. So why do men do it, right? Like, why do men want to do Looksmaxxing? They're trying to get women, which is not a noble goal. Why are you doing that? Why are you engaging in vanity? Check the last video I put up. Why do you engage in vanity to get something that you shouldn't even want in the first place? With the superficial female interactions, like why is it celibate? Why is the sex the center of it? I've never pursued sex. I don't think I've ever actually. It just sort of happens. And I pursued relationships. I actually cared about people. I've sat down for like half an hour and just listened to a stranger talk about their life because that fulfills me. I like it. They're happy. I get to learn about them. That's a lot of times it can be boring, but it's only boring if you let it be boring. Go and have a little fun, right? Have a little conversation. It's weird why men do Looksmaxxing because it's like an alien. It's like the Patrick Bateman, like, I just want to be normal. Like, you're not going to be more normal by doing more weird stuff. Okay. I've never had whenever I go out in public, women look at me and they smile, like that sort of like, hey, come over here and talk to me smile. But I'm like, I don't have my wedding ring on now, but just flashing the wedding ring. I was like, I'm married and I got stuff to do. I don't look like some model. Okay. I don't have abs. I'm kind of husky. Like I'll back up so you can see. Yeah. See, there I am in my sweatpants. Work from home. Let's dress however I want. Sorry about that. Yeah. Like I'm not like super muscular. I just sort of look capable. I'm not a noodle arm, but and women smile at me. It's like, why can't you guys get that? It's probably because women find vanity unattractive. They find it feminine, actually. If you're a little bit ugly, like the best looking guys have a little bit of ugly to them. You notice that? Like George Clooney and like Brad Pitt, they don't look like the Giga Chad. Okay, they got a little bit of a face to them that looks a bit rugged. Like, doesn't look like it's manicured. Like their cheekbones aren't just their cheekbones aren't like weirdly pressing out all the time. All right, maybe in some roles they are, but on the day to day, not really. What women want looks wise, women don't find superficiality very attractive. Typically speaking, women don't find superficiality attractive. That's what they give off, try and get interactions with people just like you, but you need to be above that and make that a very small part of who you are. And before you even get to a transcendental relationship, right, you have to have a deep one where you have some sort of deep connections. This is where most of your development is going to be, especially early in life. You need to develop some sort of personality depth. You need to overcome some kind of barrier. Like when I was young, I had a lot of trouble socializing. I just didn't know what to talk about. So I learned an instrument. I taught myself classical guitar off the internet, and I let my guitar do the introduction first. So all the superficial interaction I had with people was with the guitar. After that, I would talk about how cool Carl Sagan's cosmos is and all the sort of dreams for the stars that I might have, because I used to be a huge science nerd. I ended up becoming a scientist, so I kind of fulfilled that nerd dream. I would have interactions with people that were on a deeper level, and the superficiality, I made it as fast as possible. I just got it over with. The superficiality is just, hey, come here. Then they come here, and then we have let's talk. Let's have a conversation. And most of the deep interaction you're going to have with people is just listening. So you don't actually have to bring a lot to the table. You just have to maintain eye contact and then like actually care. By the way, women are really good at knowing if you're lying. There's something really supernatural about it. So don't pretend to care. You actually have to care. You actually have to change your heart and care about whatever it is that she wants to talk about. Well, you do that for a little while. Like, how many men are just going to sit down and listen, and not interrupt and not coddle? Because women also don't like to be coddled, I found. Like, if you just go, "Oh, poor baby, that's terrible he did that to you." If you actually kind of if you actually kind of oppose her a little bit and say like, no, the thing, that person, they might have had a reason for it, not excusing it, but they might have had their own reasons. She might actually agree with you. Like, she wants you to be a little bit disagreeable, so that she knows that you'll push back if she's out of step, right? If she'll trust your judgment more if you. Let me put it this way: she'll never trust your judgment if you always agree with her. I think that's a non-controversial statement. Okay, so you have to learn how to actually engage with people in a genuine manner and develop your genuine self. That's how you have a deep interaction. But like, Looksmaxxing is not doing it. I don't know what on earth these men think they're doing. They're like, "Oh, this bait is terrible. I hate using this bait to catch this fish. Let me just get better bait of that exact same type." It's like, just get a net at this point, man. It's super weird because the superficiality of it means that they're just trying to manipulate the system. Women know when they're being manipulated. All right, so if you're trying to go in there and entrance them with your abs and your cheekbones, they're going to just find it weird and creepy, like, ugh, you know. If you notice that a lot of the like sort of predatory guys in fiction tend to be good looking, like strangely good, like they're trying too hard, your Patrick Bateman types. Women don't find like the male villain for a lot of women is a very preened man because they find it manipulative what he's doing. So your goal is to be as, without intending to do it, is to be as creepy as possible, right? So here's the part where I build you up. Okay, so I'm sorry I broke you down so much. I don't mean to make this a beat down session for you. If you watch this video to this level, to this timestamp, right, I thank you for your patience. But let's talk about what we're going to do instead, okay? How do you develop deep? And I'll do another video on this specifically. Like, how do you develop your depth? Your depth is something that you have to develop it's solitary, in a solitary manner, right? Because your depth is you contending with yourself. When you contend with yourself, you put yourself up against objects and obstacles that are outside of this world, right? Outside in this world, sorry. So you're going to push yourself up against some goal. Let's say you've always wanted to shoot a model rocket and you want to figure it out. Or let's say that you just want to read all of Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. Okay? Little goals like that. These little goals kind of hone you in, because to read the Lord of the Rings, you have to have a lot of patience because it's a lot of stuff to read. And you have to enjoy it because it's a big commitment, right? So can you have the commitment and the discipline to sit down and read that book? That's actually a big filter. Probably only the top 10% of the population can do that. So just by reading the Lord of the Rings, you've put yourself in the top 10%. So let's see, where else could we go? What's a cool vocational skill you've always wanted to have? I'm a big fan of having a diverse, I'm a big fan of the concept of the Renaissance man, that you should have a diversity of skill sets and character traits that allow you to thrive in different times. Because if you know that you'll thrive in all times and all places, your anxiety levels go down, like big time, right? So if you're a computer programmer that has also been plumbing, like on the side, like you work 2 days a week or like 1 day a week plumbing, and you have that in your back pocket, that's great. Maybe your goal is that you want to learn how to do the plumbing in your house. You want to learn all about it, and you want to you want to fix some things, change some things, even just inspect it. Maybe make an addition. I don't know. Let's say one of your goals is you would like to build a shed in your backyard and do a good job of it, like a really good job. Okay. These are all things that you do to build depth. When you're contending with yourself, you build depth because you have to, your main obstacle in life is actually yourself. And that's why I hate the guys and gals who blame other people for their shortcomings, because your shortcomings are entirely because of you. No, people have had it far harder than we have it now. And they made a lot more of themselves than we are making of ourselves right now. The distractions that we have, right? I don't have my phone with me, but I'd pull it up if I did. The distractions we have right now, all these different things, are because we allow them to be distractions. Our bad relationships are not the other person's fault necessarily. They're probably not, especially if you have multiple bad relationships. They're probably you. You're either your choice or the way that you allow the relationship to go or how much of yourself you share. Maybe you share too much, maybe you share too little, and you don't build that deep connection, right? That we're talking about. And then transcendental, we're not even going to talk about. That's when, soulmates, everything for life, that sort of thing. That's really hard to get to, and most people don't get there, and that's okay. We'll talk about that another time. But, what to do instead? Go out on your own, not relying on anyone else, and accomplish a goal, something you've always wanted to do. I don't care if it's to play Mary Had a Little Lamb on a guitar, or learn how to do like the little ragtime riff on a piano, which is a pretty sweet goal. My goal is I'll share my goal. I've always wanted to build an audio circuit, whether that's an amplifier or a distortion pedal, or maybe even like a synth circuit. There's some really cool videos out there on how to make synthetic noise, pretty much. And that would be a lot of fun to build that and to make that, and and see where that leads me. That's my little goal. And I'm always building depth. I'm 35 years old and I'm still finding new things that I like to get into and just chip at it, just if it's a surface level thing. And then see if it pulls me in. Most of the time it doesn't. So we'll see. I hope that's helpful, guys. Thanks for watching the full video. And I know I'm a little bit of a rambler, but it's YouTube. Dude's face looking at the camera, rambling at you about nonsense. That's how it goes. But I hope you guys don't fall into this looksmaxxing thing. You're just maximizing superficiality. You're not going to build that deep connection that way. And you're not going to build a depth of character that's going to bring you forward in life. Okay? There we go. I wish you all the best, and hope you have a blessed one. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.